Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is June 1st, which means that it is unofficially the first day of summer. It's the first day of summer in my book. I know it's officially June 20th, I think is officially the first day of summer. For each season, whatever month that season begins on, it's always the first of the month for me. So like the first day of spring is March 1st. The first day of summer is June 1st. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about a few of the new releases coming in summer of 2025 that I personally am very excited about. Will I be reading these books in the summer? Probably not. Will I even be reading these books in 2025? Honestly, maybe, but probably not because I don't read as fast as some of these other people do. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. To kind of summarize all the books that I am gonna be mentioning today, we have 16 total books that are coming out this summer. We got 5 just general fiction or literary fiction books, 2 romance, 5 mystery thrillers, 1 historical or nonfiction book, 2 fantasy, and 1 horror. I don't read a ton of horror books, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. So for the first 3 books I'm gonna mention, these all came out in May, so technically they're not really summer releases, but I'm gonna include them anyway. The very first one that I'm gonna talk about is My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I feel like this is a very talked about book in the book world, I guess. I see people talk about it all the time. I've never read a Frederick Bachman book. I've heard great things so far about My Friends and just great things about his writing in general. A group of teenagers find refuge from their bruising home lives by spending long summer days on an abandoned pier, telling silly jokes, sharing secrets, and committing small acts of rebellion. These lost souls find in each other a reason to get up every morning, a reason to dream, a reason to love. So it's kind of just like it's just a general fiction book, and I'm excited for it. Next. The next book I have on here is What Happens in Amsterdam, and this is a romance book, which I honestly don't read a ton of romance books, like pure romance. A lot of what I read is romantasy, so I guess that kind of counts. But I don't read a lot of just pure romance books, but something about this one, I kind of wanted to, I don't know, it sounded intriguing. I kind of wanted to read it. So this is by Rachel Lynn Solomon. It sounds like a good summer read. I feel like romance is always a good choice for summer. It says Danny Dorfman has somehow made it to her 30s without knowing what she wants to do with her life. So when an office romance ends poorly and gets her fired, she applies for a job in Amsterdam, idly dreaming of escaping the mess she's created, but never imagining she'll actually get it. So it sounds like your typical travel romance, going abroad romance. I don't know, I kind of like going into books blind. The last book that I want to talk about that came out in May is The Last Ferry Out by Andrea Bartz, and this is a mystery thriller. I think that mystery thrillers are one of the best genres to read in the summer. I don't know if that's just because I'm in the mood to read a mystery thriller right now, or if I genuinely think that summer and thrillers go well together. I don't know, I think they kind of do. I kind of want that fast-paced, high stakes, what's gonna happen, I'm on the edge of my seat type book, and I feel like a mystery thriller obviously fits that description. So that's probably why I have 5 different mystery thrillers on this list. But anyway, Last Ferry Out is about this woman who travels back to a remote tropical island where her fiance had died. She learns a few things about her fiance's death and discovers that maybe it wasn't just a freak accident, maybe it was actually calculated. So a lot of suspense. I'm excited for that one as well. Moving into the books that are coming out in June, I have 6 books on my list. The first one is actually a historical nonfiction book, and that is The Sisterhood of Ravensbrück by Lynn Olson. How an intrepid band of French women resisted the Nazis in Hitler's all-female concentration camp. I feel like that is all you need to know about the synopsis of this book. I put this on my list because I personally, I don't know if I should have known this, maybe this is embarrassing to admit, but it didn't click in my head for me that there were all-female concentration camps, but it does make sense because they did separate the women, if I'm remembering correctly. I thought it sounded really interesting and honestly kind of like an important book to read, honestly. So that one comes out on June 3rd, which is actually just in a couple days from the time that I'm recording this. Also coming out on June 3rd is another highly anticipated read for a lot of people, I feel like, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid always writes good books. I feel like everybody loves almost everything that she writes. I loved Daisy Jones and the Six. I loved Carrie Soto's Back. And this is a general literary fiction book about a woman who has always dreamed of space and always loved space, and she actually gets picked up for one of the astronaut training camp programs. I think there's a romance in it that I remember reading. I don't know for sure. I feel like most people, when they hear a new Taylor Jenkins Reid book is coming out, they don't even have to read the description. They just know they're gonna add it to their pile of books they want to read. So the next book that is coming out also on June 3rd is The Ghostwriter, and I actually am getting this book in Book of the Month. I saw the email come through, I think yesterday, the day before, about Book of the Month's June picks, and I was reading through the little descriptions and saw the ghostwriter, and I thought it sounded so interesting. It is a mystery thriller again, and it is about this girl who overhears these really bizarre rumors about her dad when she is younger, and it's a rumor that he actually murdered his siblings. And then eventually when she grows up, she ends up ghostwriting her dad's book. And I think while she's writing it, she uncovers all of these deep, dark secrets about her dad and all of her family history, and actually uncovers the truth about what happened. I just thought that sounded like a very interesting concept. I don't think I've really read a book like that, but it sounds really interesting. The next book that comes out in June is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Again, have never read a book by them, but you know what? Maybe this will be the first one. And this comes out on June 10th. It is a dark fantasy novel. I heard it's about vampires. I reread the description and I don't think it mentions anything about vampires, but I thought I heard that. So this book is about 3 different timelines that take place in 3 different places, and it says one story is about hunger, one story is about love, and one story is about rage. Each story follows a different woman in a different timeline, a different location, and I am just very curious to see how they all line up, how they all fit together, what the fantasy elements are. Are they all vampires? Are there even vampires in this book? I heard that. I could be lying to you, but I definitely read that online somewhere. It is not anywhere in the description, but oh, yes it is. Yes it is. It's sitting here right. It's literally written right there. It says genres, fantasy, vampires, and then it says horror. So I guess it's a horror book. Wait, it's a horror book. I'm keeping this in the fantasy category. It doesn't matter. The very end of the description says this is a story about life, how it ends, and how it starts. So it just sounds very interesting to me. Next up on my list is Beach Reads and Deadly Deeds by Allison Brennan. And this is another mystery novel. This is about a woman who loves reading. She loves just kind of diving into these books that she reads, and she goes away to this tropical island for a vacation. One of the books that she is reading while she is there actually has these little notes in the margins that she finds. They turn out to be little clues about the actual disappearance of somebody else on the island. I don't know if this is a disappearance of a current guest or a past guest, like from years prior. I thought it sounded like a very interesting book to read, very good summer read. It sounds like a nice, fast-paced, summer setting mystery type book, so I'm very excited for that one. And that one comes out on June 17th. And the last book that I have that's coming out this June is El Dorado Drive by Megan Abbott. And this is another mystery thriller yet again. This one comes out on June 24th. This book is about these sisters who move in together. They have this like club that they meet with once or twice a month, I believe. And this club is basically like they all pool together money, and then one of the members of the club wins the money. One of the sisters gets invited to this club, and they end up accidentally like uncovering some sort of mystery, like darkness lurking thing in the group, and they find themselves like really, I don't know, getting into trouble, I guess. The description of this book is very vague, to be completely honest with you, but it just sparked my interest, to be honest, so I added it to the list. I don't really know. So moving into books that are coming out in the month of July, I have 3 books on this list, and the first one comes out July 8th, and that is These Summer Storms. I am very excited to read this book. It takes place in New England off the coast of Rhode Island when a group of siblings, the Storm siblings, have to travel back to their old estate in Rhode Island because their father had recently passed away. They find out that their dad actually left them some sort of puzzle game thing. In order for them to get their inheritance, they have to complete this challenge, like this puzzle. I thought it was a mystery type heist kind of deal, but apparently it's listed as a romance. Maybe there's not so many family secrets as there are just family dynamic and drama, I guess. Regardless, it sounds very interesting, and I am very excited for that one to come out in July. Next up for July is The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is a horror novel. This book comes out July 15th. I have never read a horror novel before. I've never read any Stephen King. I might have actually technically read a horror genre book because I did read 9th House and Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, so I think those technically classify as horror. Definitely more fantasy to me. But this one is about this girl who is a grad student, and she is reading this manuscript from a while ago in the past, and she learns about this, I don't know, ghost or like being or something, it sounds like. As she learns more and more, she starts to think that the same ghostly being that existed in this manuscript back then is still existing today, and she kind of just dives into discovering more about it and all the different things that come with it. I don't really know why that I would put this on a summer anticipated read list, but it's not necessarily that I want to read it this summer. This is definitely more of a fall spooky season type read in my opinion, but it's coming out this summer, so that's why I'm including it on this list. And for my last book that comes out in July, we have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, and that comes out on July 22nd. Holly Jackson is the author of the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, which I have also not read. There's a lot of books that I have not read. The very first line in the description of this book, it says, "In 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead." I'm just gonna read the description of this book. It says, Jet is the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in Woodstock, Vermont. 27 years old, she's still waiting for her life to begin. "I'll do it later," she always says. She has time. Until Halloween night when Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic head injury. The doctor is certain that within a week, the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm. Jet has never thought of herself as having enemies, but now she looks at everyone with a new light. Her family, her former best friend turned sister-in-law, her ex-boyfriend. She has at most 7 days, and as her condition deteriorates, she has only her childhood friend Billy for help. But nevertheless, she is absolutely determined to finally finish something. Jet is going to solve her own murder. I thought that sounded super interesting. I feel like it's probably gonna be a little sad, but that's another mystery thriller. It sounds very interesting. All the betrayal that I would assume happens in this book. Definitely excited for that book to come out as well. Moving into the books that we have in August, I think I have four books in August. I truly am intrigued by this book purely because of the cover. It has dogs on it. What more could I ask for, to be completely honest? This is The Hounding by Zenobi Purvis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. This comes out on August 5th. From what I remember from reading the description, this book is about these people in a village who believe they're becoming dogs. I'm just gonna read the description because I don't remember what this book is supposed to be about. It's classified as actually a horror, historical fiction. I did not realize that I have more horror books on here than I thought I did. Let me read it. In this haunting debut about 5 sisters in a small village in 18th century England whose neighbors are convinced they're turning into dogs. That's all I needed to hear. Even before the rumors about the Mansfield girls begin, Little Nettlebed is a village steeped in the uncanny from strange creatures that wash up on the riverbed. Oh my god, I can't speak, I can't read. This is a book about reading and I can't even read. Even before the rumors about the Mansfield girls begin, Little Nettlebed is a village steeped in the uncanny. From strange creatures that wash up on the riverbed to ravens gathering on the roofs of people about to die, but when the villagers start to hear barking and one claims to see the Mansfield sister transform before his very eyes, the allegations spark fascination and fear like nothing has before. I purely picked it for the cover. I don't actually know what this was about, but I am even more intrigued by it, that they are turning into dogs. Moving on, yet another mystery thriller is The Hatchet Girls. This, I think it might actually be a kind of like a book in a series, but it doesn't really sound like you need to read the first few books to understand what's going on. So this book comes out on August 19th, and this is a Hap and Leonard novel, which I think there's probably a series that follows Hap and Leonard. This book is about a group of girls who have pledged their allegiance to a crazed and grudge-bearing leader bent on bloody societal revenge. The timing couldn't be worse to be caught in such a vile, sticky wicket of both. What am I reading right now? Oh my god, with fiance Pookie. What? Am I actually having trouble comprehending, or does this sentence not make sense? The timing couldn't be worse to be caught in such a vile, sticky wicket of a both boys are wrapped up in their domestic Leonard is in the midst of wedding planning with fiance Pookie. I'm not even kidding. That is literally the sentence. I will add a clip of it, like a screenshot of it. I don't understand what that is saying. Life changes, midnight sneaks, and dark encounters with misguided dames who yell chop chop lead Hap and Leonard into one of their darkest adventures yet. Interesting. That one sentence really threw me through a loop right there. I don't really know what that was supposed to say. I'm intrigued, to say the least. Next up on my list is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I, again, have never read an R.F. Kuang book, but this is a fantasy novel, and it is about 2 graduate students who have to set aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Like I said before, I did read Ninth House and Hellbent, so I feel like that's kind of what sparked the interest in this book for me. It says it's a fantasy, romance, dark academia type book, so I feel like it's something that would be right up my alley. This book comes out on August 26th. R.F. Kuang's a very well-known writer. Also, I think they wrote The Poppy War also, if I'm not mistaken. But Babel is another book that is by R.F. Kuang that has been on my TBR for a while. I actually have it on my Kindle. Yet another one by R.F. Kuang to add to my list. Last but not least on my list is A New Me by Helen Oyemi. don't know how to pronounce it. That also comes out on the 26th of August, and it is a literary fiction novel, and to me it sounds a little odd, but also a little interesting. It's about this woman named Kinga. She has 7 different versions of herself, one for each day of the week. I'm getting Split vibes, kind of. They're named Kinga A through G, and all of a sudden one of these versions of herself finds a man like tied up in her apartment, and that version of herself doesn't know how he got there or why he's there. So the book follows all the different sides of her personality, it says, and trying to figure out where this man came from. I don't know, it just sounds very, very interesting to me. It sounds like a wild ride, to be honest. Those are all the books that I am looking forward to that are coming out in summer 2025. I feel like I have a good variety of genres, even though a lot of them are mystery thrillers. Apparently there's a few more horrors on here than I expected. I don't know when I'm ever gonna get to these books. I definitely want to get to these books. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If there are any other books that are coming out summer 2025 that I did not mention and you're excited for, or you think I should read, let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.